Hi guys, it's BlazeJack3, and today I really want to talk about Gohan. Now, of course, in the recent, chapters of Dragon Ball Super manga, we actually saw where Gohan actually defeated Kefla. And honestly, that was actually pretty cool. They did Gohan right. Not as right as we all wanted, but they really came through with Gohan, for him to actually match up in his ultimate form far beyond what he was in the Buu saga and be able to take on a fusion, a Super Saiyan 2 / Berserk fusion. It's not necessarily the highest, but it's a fusion. It's a really powerful fusion. And for him to go toe to toe with that really shows how powerful Gohan is. And I'm honestly proud of how they really did him. They really did Gohan right. I'm honestly proud of that. But what I really want to talk about today was Gohan. In general, I honestly think Gohan should have stayed the main character of Dragon Ball Z. They were setting it up from the beginning when it started. Gohan was little. He even exploded with his energy on Raditz, on Piccolo, on Vegeta with his Grade 8 form, on Frieza, on somewhat of the Ginyu Force. They were building this up the whole time, and that connection with Piccolo, and especially the Cell Saga when Goku died. It was like, well, since we have Gohan now as the most powerful person, excuse that noise, that's my ice maker making ice. Since we have Gohan as the most powerful person now, why don't we just go ahead and make him the main character? It made the most sense. They even went forward in time after the Buu saga with adult Gohan, and Goten was little, and he had even trained Goten. Now, of course, Vegeta was still alive, but it was leading up to that. Gohan was even the Great Saiyaman, and as silly as it was, Gohan enjoyed fighting. He honestly enjoyed it. He actually enjoyed being a hero. He met Videl and all that stuff. It was pretty cool. It was basically like doing the Goku thing with Chi-Chi all over again. How she underestimated Goku a little bit and fell in love with him at some point. And Videl kind of did the same thing. It was just, the setup was so perfect. And what they did to him was make him so depowered and untrained. It was just so weird how they did that with Gohan. But look at the footage. Pay attention to this footage. I edited it down for this reason. Look at what he does to the Cell Juniors. Gohan is what I have, for example, is why he should have been the main character. He's the chosen one. I believe Gohan has a power, or not necessarily a power, but some type of ability. Like, he does the same things to the Cell Juniors that he did to Frieza. Like, look at this footage right here. Now, granted, yeah, it's not canon, but come on, the Cell Juniors were not just little things that Cell popped out and turned to dust. These were fully living organisms. Cell is a living organism. He basically had babies. Gohan turned them into dust. That's how ferocious his attack was. And he even did that against Frieza, who came back from the dead fully because it was out of whack. That's not just a coincidence. They could have worked with that somehow if Gohan was still the main character. You know how they have the Hakai thing? That could have been Gohan's own chosen one Hakai, because don't forget, Gohan is a chosen one. And for what they doing with him, he has a lot more potential than Goku and Vegeta. He just doesn't train. And they showed it with Gohan with his ultimate form, because he was the only one who could pick up the Z sword. At least I think. I don't know if I'm wrong, but he's the chosen one. It'll just come natural that, he's gonna be more powerful, and that's what they were leading up to. Even though, he started training a little bit, he started slacking, and his Super Saiyan 2 form wasn't as powerful as it was when he fought Cell. but he was still pretty powerful. And learning to get in his ultimate form, he probably was on par or at least close to Super Saiyan 3. Probably beyond that. We don't know. Now, of course, yes, he did get cocky each time that he got more powerful. But that could have been worked on. That could have helped in his favor. Or that could have let him develop as a character of not to be like that in fights. And not just that, he had Goten to look after. That could have been his binding point. And him and Videl. And somewhat Trunks. But, that's pretty much Goten's friend and all that stuff. But, they could have did a lot of stuff. And to bring Goku back and have him be the main character again. Now, I'm not saying Goku should just stay dead. But Goku should have been like he was in that Broly movie. If they ever needed help, Goku comes back and just helps Gohan. It could have been something like that. Goku was already a legend. Y'all don't have to bring him back and just surpass everybody at this point. He was in the Tournament of Power. Goku was basically the strongest person ever alive. Well, except Zeno and maybe the Angels. But you gotta be honest. Besides them, he was the strongest fighter. Now, with him not being able to use Ultra Instinct, you got Jiren, who's still the strongest person, the strongest fighter. But it still goes they could have did something with Gohan's little thing where he turns him into dust. That is so extraordinary. We don't see that. People just punched him or blast him. Goku wasn't even able to do stuff like that. He just gut punched people or just Kamehameha them. Gohan turned them into literal dust. That could have been like the Chosen One's Hakai or something, or at least that a version of it or something. Maybe it's like a physical type. Maybe it wasn't necessarily like a Hakai that arisen out of existence, but it sure as heck worked. He turned him into literal dust. That was just the OG Gohan. And now putting him on par with Kefla, who even in the anime, which that power scaling is way off, had trouble with Ultra Instinct Unmastered Goku. That's a lot of power. That's a heck of a lot of power for him to be on par. But even in the anime, y'all had him fight alongside Piccolo, which, yeah, he should have been doing it, but Gohan should have been one of the main ones dominating the field. Honestly. Gohan should have stayed the main character. Even his Great Saiyaman form is pretty cool. It wasn't exactly it wasn't like all that, but Gohan showed that, yeah, he does have some enjoyment for fighting and being a hero, and it just make him mellow down and not train and just become a dad, and that's it. It's like, Gohan, Vegeta says it all the time. Well, not necessarily all the time, but he has said it before. He has said, okay, if me and Kakarot can't do this, Trunks, Goten, y'all and Gohan, y'all are our only hope after this. If y'all can't, I don't know who else. Maybe the Earthlings, maybe Piccolo. Gohan is one of the most powerful people besides Goku and Vegeta. Yeah, you have Trunks in there, but Trunks isn't here anymore. I don't even think he can come back. Grown-up Trunks, kid Trunks, yeah. But they need to give Gohan some credit to have that much effort into giving him that much power and not dialogue, but I guess I don't know. They amped him up so much throughout the series that for him to just slack off and want to become a scholar, yeah, they needed their smarts. They honestly really do need their smarts. But come on. Look how much potential Gohan has. He trained with Piccolo in a few days? Or a few hours it was in anime? And was able to still compete in the Tournament of Power. Come on! And he was still able to achieve his ultimate form. Even more powerful than it had already been in the Buu Saga. Which means just that little bit of training alone, he was able to surpass his limits farther and beyond his imagination. And he hadn't even been training. So what does that tell you? Gohan has a lot more potential than Goku and Vegeta. Not just that, but because the Saiyan blood is mixed with Earthling blood and with DNA, they have a lot more potential, especially with the S cells. So it would come natural for Gohan to be like that. He's naturally nice and all that. Now, one problem he did have with Super Saiyan forms was that as he got more powerful, yeah, he did get out of control. Now, his Ultimate Gohan form, he was really focused. But Gohan really did have a problem of turning his back on his opponent. He always had a problem with doing that. That was his downfall, being too cocky. And not necessarily being too cocky, but always turning his back and thinking the fight was finished. You need to search for the key and pay attention. That was his downfall. He could have overcome that at any moment. They could have kept him as the main character. Gohan was an OG.